From the office, I'm your host, BKP. We are North Georgia's only live online morning show. If you would like to reach our show, it's 706-889-9700, 706-889-9700. You can always send us an email at chief@fetchernews.com, chief@fetchernews.com. Follow us on Twitter @FetcherNews, @FYNTV. In approximately 4 minutes, we're going to be joined by Georgia 9th Congressional District Congressman Doug Collins. When the congressman calls in, you will just see we're not going to commercial, so do not leave the front of your computer, TV screen, or whatever you're watching on. We will only be putting up the show place card for not even 15 seconds just to get the audio together and get the congressman on the line. So in about 4 minutes, will there be tax reform today? Do they have the votes? Will it be revenue neutral? Will the GDP tick up to 4 as predicted in the fourth quarter? Consumer confidence all-time high. So we're going to ask Congressman Collins where we're at on the tax reform bill and what that means to the 9th District, what that means to you, what's that mean to small business. We're going to talk about that. Also, I want to talk to the congressman about, in 2 days, December 22nd, the funding runs out for the government. Will the government shut down for the holidays because it's Christmas, or will they shut down because they run out of funds? Will there be a continuing spending resolution for Congress to get through the holidays? And when will we get to a long-term spending bill? What's it going to take to get there? When are we going to see some cuts in spending? When will revenue exceed spending? How else do you get the debt down? Some of the things we want to talk about to the congressman also. One other thing I'd like to ask the congressman is, just to give his thought of the President Donald Trump's America First national security speech yesterday. I thought it was outstanding. I want to hear what the congressman says. Now, Bruce Orr didn't show up yesterday. He is the deputy. He's been demoted. He's former Deputy Attorney General Bruce Moore. He was set to testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee. He didn't show up. Why? Why didn't McCabe show up? Andrew McCabe, Deputy Director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe. Why did he have to reschedule? Maybe they're back studying for the test. That's what Congressman Doug Collins said in an interview yesterday with Fox Business. Congressman Collins said maybe he is back studying for the test. Congressman Collins also said he is not satisfied with Rosenstein's testimony. I want to hear about that. And they're also calling for a second special counsel. What's the odds of that happening? Okay, so we should have any minute now the congressman on the line. And like I said, as soon as we get Congressman Collins on the line, we're only going to be putting our place card up for about 15 seconds, so don't leave. We're not going to commercial break. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. It is Tuesday morning, December 19th. We're getting close to Christmas. At 8:30, we will have Carla's Corner. Carla's Corner will be at 8:30 this morning. And then at 9 o'clock, I've got a whole list of things we're going to go through at 9 o'clock. So, okay, we're just stay with us here. Let's go live. And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. And I have on the line with me Georgia 9th Congressional District Congressman Doug Collins. Congressman Collins, how are you this morning?
I'm great, Brian. How are you?
Let's go right to the question. Do we have the votes today? Will there be a vote on tax reform? And when will it get to the president's desk?
Yes, and in about a day and a half. It's a good day, Brian. Today is a really good day. We're going to have the votes here in just a little bit. About 1:30, there'll be the vote in the House. And it is an exciting day because we have the votes. We got plenty of votes. There's a unanimity that I haven't seen in our conference in a while. And it's a good thing. And really, it's a good day for the American public.
Well, so you feel good on both sides of Congress. We've got the votes, and we're going to see the president before Christmas sign tax reform. Is that a good feeling we should have this morning?
You should see the president sign tax reform by the end of the week. Okay. So it'll be by his desk. If everything goes right, we'll see it by the end of his desk by as early as tomorrow afternoon, hopefully.
Well, Congressman, I know we're looking at possible GDP in this last quarter hitting 4%. Can this tax bill be revenue neutral, and why are some media outlets saying it's going to add $1 trillion to the debt? What's really going on there? Tell us that.
Well, it's not revenue neutral, and I think that's and in some ways that's not I don't consider that necessarily a bad sign. But what the media is, look, the mainstream media is, they're just against this president, number one. They don't like tax reform. They like the government way of spending things. They believe that government has the better way because they bought into the liberal ideology that says that government can handle your money better than you can. And they enjoy the funding and the programs and the press in the government apparatus, if you would. What's actually happening here is when they talk about it being $1.5 trillion, we're cutting $1.5 trillion of the taxes. They're saying, well, you'll never replace that. We're just saying a 1%. They're figuring in a 1.8% growth like we had under the Obama administration, which, by the way, we haven't had under the Trump administration. And, they're not taking any growth or anything into account as we move forward, which, by the way, we've seen every time we've been a part of this. We've seen it every time from Kennedy to Reagan to everywhere else in between. So we know that it can work. It's just a matter of putting it in there and getting it started.
Okay, the Obamacare mandate is going to be removed here, the tax mandating people to buy health insurance. Why is the media putting out there that that's going to hurt the states and come back on the states?
Again, because they very much enjoy the Obamacare. This is what is what was wanted, and this is when they're looking at it from that perspective, they're saying that. If you don't, now think about this, Brian, this is where it gets really interesting. When you talk about the fact that you don't have the mandate anymore, you're not forcing individuals to buy insurance. They're saying is it because you're not forcing people to buy insurance that you're going to, they're actually lying and saying we're kicking people off insurance. And that's not true. They're just simply, if they're not wanting to buy the insurance, the Obamacare insurance that they don't like anyway, they just don't have to pay the fine. And we're not doing what, the government's not supposed to be doing. That's telling people how to, buy insurance that they don't want or don't need.
Well, we're just not forcing them. We're not kicking them off. We're not forcing them to purchase it, and that's just the bottom line. And I agree. I don't know why it can't be that simply reported. Let me ask you, we're coming up on December 22nd. Are we going to shut down the government for the holidays? Are we going to fund the government in a short-term spending resolution? Where are we at here on the 22nd?
Next big issue that we have to deal with, Brian, and I think that's going to be the sort of the concerning part. And this is where I've been frustrated and trying to find the answers that we need to get the government funded. The president, of course, has been, and everybody's been focused on tax reform. We're going to get something done this week. The problem is the Senate. We've talked about this before, and I think what's really frustrating for many of us is that we passed all 12 of our appropriations bills back in September. The Senate has not even put one of those on the floor. So it's a big concern here, and what we found in the last little bit is the Senate just basically neglecting and doing their job. And so this has put us into a position here in the next couple of days. We're going to have to find a solution to get us into the new year and find some ways to fund our defense and fund the things that we need to be a part of.
Well, Congressman, I think our viewers and the viewers here in the 9th District, I think we're all wondering, when will we finally get a long-term spending bill and not continuing resolutions. How far off do you think that is for us to get a long-term spending bill in front of the president?
We'll get an omnibus. We'll get a boost spending bill. We'll get a fully funded by January. You know, at latest it'll fund it through September. I think that'll be the biggest thing. The bigger problem, though, Brian, this is something that, you know, maybe after the first year, I'd love to do a longer show with you and talk about this. And that just goes back because David Perdue and I have had long conversations about how and I'm leading a group up here on debt and budgeting in the House that simply looks at how we have gotten into a position with the Budget Act of 72 that comes through and how we do appropriations bills. There's just no teeth to the process, and it allows the Senate to hide behind a cloture vote that in the end of the day, I found this out as we were researching this, that only one time since the Budget Act was put in the 70s has there actually been a budget done and appropriations been made to match that budget. One time in 50 years, even in Washington, D.C., that's a massive failure.
Well, I love the opportunity to break that down to the nuts and bolts, and I welcome that anytime we get the opportunity. Let me switch gears. I went back and watched a video last night, September 28, 2016, then FBI Director James Comey. You said, quote, "Bring down the curtain. There is a wizard behind the thing. It's Hillary Clinton who is playing all of us." This is where you said he blew it. Comey's answer, FBI Director Comey's answer to you was, "This case was investigated by a group of professionals. If they blew it, I blew it too. Former FBI, career FBI agents, and the very best we had," was his quote, "the very best we had. We put on this case and career analyst." I mean, that answer, you said that they blew it. How much bigger is that to you today after hearing that they had their best? And we're talking about Strzok, and we're talking about Lisa Page, the FBI attorney. How much bigger is that now for you than that day?
Well, I just think it confirms what, you know, we were seeing through, and, you know, there's, you know, always this, you know, there's a little bit of propheticness there because, you know, like what we were seeing was, and now even knowing more so that Strzok and others had basically changed the report that was given. We find out that Comey was looking to exonerate Hillary Clinton before he even had interviewed her and other places. It just goes back to show that there was a large problem, and that was what we're finding out even more and more now against this investigation. That is, you know, undermining the very underpinnings of people's confidence, not just from a left-right perspective, but just from an honest American perspective to say, what is going on? And this past week when I was questioning the Deputy Attorney General, Rosenstein, who actually, I said, the problem is you pointed these folks, and I said, were you taking a guy who's shown bias, and we don't even know if he still has a security clearance, if he's still talking to the other people in the Mueller investigation. I said, it's just undermining the very underpinnings of trust in an investigation, which I believe will exonerate the president, that I believe will lead to showing that it didn't, this has been a rabbit chase to start with. But we also need to understand why the Hillary Clinton investigation. People are tired of seeing people in places of authority, especially whether it be the FBI, Department of Justice, or Hillary Clinton, being treated differently.
Congressman, you said you weren't satisfied with Rosenstein's testimony. Yesterday, former Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr was set to testify. He did not show up. Last week, Deputy Director FBI Andrew McCabe rescheduled. When asked about Orr in a Fox Business interview yesterday, you said maybe he's back studying for the test. You're calling for a second special counsel. What's the odds of us getting a second special counsel here?
Well, I think it was happening with the Inspector General, which, by the way, you know, Brian, I think the Inspector General is doing a great job. If it wasn't for the independent Mr. Horowitz at DOJ, we wouldn't have had these messages. We wouldn't have had some of the stuff that we currently have. But I think the calls are getting louder because it just, you know, is in need of, you know, if there was a need, as the Attorney General said, he couldn't investigate this, and we're obviously finding out the bias and other things in the FBI and Department of Justice itself. Then we need an independent counsel to look into the bias that was there, to look into the investigation of Hillary Clinton and the other issues that were there that many of us have been saying were incomplete to start with. And look, this doesn't go to the field agents and the folks. There's plenty of good people in the FBI that are earned respect. They do the job every day. They help keep us safe, but they have been poorly served by their senior leadership.
So, 30 seconds. I know we got to close. You got a brief comment on President Donald Trump's national security speech yesterday, Congressman?
I do. I think it just laid out a firm plan. I think the biggest issue is we have a world that is unstable. We have a leader who wants to keep America safe and keep our leadership in the world, and that's what we need to have. I think we need to be very strong-handed on the world stage, but also very delicate when it comes to dealing with it. And I think that's what he sort of laid out yesterday. He's saying let's use the force where we need force, diplomacy where we need diplomacy, but always keeping in mind what our interests are. And I think that's a good way to look at it.
Congressman, you got a busy day, and thank you. And let's get that tax reform bill to the president's desk. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas. If we don't see you, and let's make plans to have an in-depth discussion on spending bill.
Brian, I look forward to it. Look, today is a great day for your listeners and your viewers. This is a good day. So I just want to have a great one. Y'all just have a good one.
Thank you, Congressman. Okay, that's Congressman, Georgia 9th Congressional Congressman Doug Collins. I brought up the interview in September 28, 2016, former FBI director, then he's the FBI director, James Comey. Congressman Collins said, "You blew it." Okay, I watched this interview last night. He said, "You blew it." And Congressman Collins says, you bring down the curtain, there's a wizard. Behind the thing, it's Hillary Clinton, who is playing all of us. Comey's answer to "you blew it," okay, because Congressman Doug Collins, he's done questioning. This is 2016, September 28th, over a year ago. Comey comes back, this is director of FBI, and says, "This case was investigated by a group of professionals." Listen to the quote. Go back and pull this. I know we have Trey Gowdy on record. I know we have so many great interviews on record that pins down what a deceitful, misleading former FBI director. Those are my nicest words I can use for this guy, James Comey, this morning. So he says, Comey said in that interview, he said, it was investigated by a group of professionals. If they blew it, I blew it too. Okay, we know that to be true this morning. Career FBI agents, Peter Strzok, right? Peter Strzok, Andrew McCabe, Lisa Page, remember Peter Strzok, chief FBI investigator, all the way to the top. Okay, if they blew it, he blew it. So we're finding out they blew it. The insurance policy in Andy McCabe, okay? Deputy Director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, he had to reschedule his testimony because he could not answer last week. My opinion, he could not answer because Strzok came out on one day. Andrew McCabe was scheduled the next day. So whoa. I have to go back and study for the test. Okay? So he is a head. Career FBI agents. This is who Comey's talking about in this interview. If they blew it, I blew it. Lisa Page, FBI attorney. Okay? Peter Strzok, FBI chief investigator, involved in every aspect of this. Changing the verbiage in the letter, the exoneration letter for Hillary Clinton that went around the office to get a different set of eyes on it from everybody. Just those three alone. That's what he said. The very best we had. That was Comey's claim to Congressman Collins in that interview. Go back and watch it. The very best we have. We put on this case, and career analysts. We put our best on this case. So, over a year after the fact, are we seeing this is the best the FBI had to offer? Is this the best they could do in light of what the Inspector General is bringing out? This is the best? Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr, he has been demoted. Bruce Orr worked 4 doors down from Rosenstein. Rod Rosenstein, the person, the assistant attorney general of this country, underneath Jeff Sessions, 4 doors down. We find out Orr's wife worked for Fusion GPS. This guy, former Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr, was set to testify yesterday. Yesterday. He didn't show up. He was a no-show. Congressman Collins said maybe he is back studying for the test. Folks, I mean, we hear the calls for a second special counsel. We hear in the Fox Business interview, Congressman Collins say that Trump has been forthcoming. There's no collusion. I guess I want to just go right on with what Congressman Collins said and just back that up. It's a good day for America. You know why it's a good day for America? Because we're going to get the tax reform. We're going to have the votes to get the tax reform. You know why it's a good day for America? Because GDP, after 1 year of this president's United States, this president, Donald J. Trump of the United States of America, 1 year after the fact, the fourth quarter, all right, we had 8 years. Now, what is 8 times 4? 32? Is that 32? Did I get that right? I mean, it's not my best day, right? So we had 32 consecutive quarters where a President Barack Hussein Obama did not get 3-point GDP, not one time in 32 quarters. And President Donald Trump may end his first year with the stock market at a record high, consumer confidence at a record high, unemployment at all-time lows. A statistic I heard yesterday, black male unemployment is the lowest it's been in 17 years. And the fourth quarter of this year, GDP may be expected to be at 4.0. Look, I'm going to tell you right now what President Donald Trump is doing and what is getting exposed in the swamp and what is about to happen in this country with this infusion of trillions of dollars that I told you yesterday. The times in the past that corporations had an opportunity to invest in the country was not in position to invest in. Meaning we had so many regulations and so many things tying the hands of our corporations that it was to their benefit. It was more advantageous to them to go out of this country and build their factories, out of this country and put their offices, out of this country and develop things to bring back and sell to us. We are still the market of the world, the United States of America. We're still the people that purchase the United States of America, the shoes, the clothes, the phones, the computers, the cars. We are still that country. No matter how you look at it, this infusion of cash with the regulations and an environment where corporations could actually do business in this country, it's getting ready to explode. It is a great day in America. I just want to say, who are the people that are answering the polling questions? If consumer confidence is an all-time high, okay? If there's a family driving to work this morning, no matter where you're at, Arkansas, Tennessee, New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. There's a family driving to work this morning. They both are employed. They're both making a good living now, or they're making a living. They're both employed. Their consumer confidence is up. They're shopping for Christmas. And they get a phone call saying, what do you think of the President of the United States? Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, I'll never vote for that guy again. All right? Just don't see it. Do not know where they get the polling from. This drastic polling that they are trying to separate Americans. But you know what? You won't be able to separate us much longer. Because economically, this country is probably going to boom like you've not seen in your lifetime. Okay? I know you're going to talk about the dot-com boom, that economy. I understand Ronald Reagan's economy. I lived through both of them. Ronald Reagan's economy, the dot-com boom economy with Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich as Speaker of the House. But this is going to be different. This is going to be different. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I feel really good to be able to bring to you this morning that it's a good day in America, coming from our congressman in the 9th District saying they have the votes in about a day and a half. Okay? Maybe tomorrow is Wednesday, maybe Thursday. The American public will see the signing of a major piece of legislation that they said the president could not get anything done. What has he done? You're going to end 2017 with 3 major things happening, more than 3. But you're going to have Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court. You're going to have conservative judges on the lower court. That's in the courts and the judges. You're going to have the Obamacare mandate gone. All right? The tax that John Roberts said became a tax, the mandating people in America to have to buy something or you pay a penalty, it's going to be gone this year. And there's going to be major tax reform. That's 3. 4, GDP. 5, consumer confidence. 6, regulations. 7, coal miners. List goes on. Hey, we're having an ugly Christmas sweater contest. Now, what you have to do is find our Facebook page, okay? FetcherNews.com Facebook page. Send us a picture, post a picture, tag us, whatever you got to do. Send a picture of your ugly sweater, okay? We'll give you some examples today. But send us a picture of your ugly sweater so you can get a chance to win. And do we have up what we're winning right now? The prizes. We have a $25 gift certificate to what's up there? What's that place again? There's 2 of them.
Mesquite Grill and Ace Hardware.
Mesquite Grill, a $25 prize. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge, a $25 prize. And don't we have a spa package that you should be able to find on our Facebook page? We'll find that.
Yes, it's from Brasstown Valley Resort.
Brasstown Valley Resort spa package.
It's a facial and a Swedish massage, I believe. Swedish
massage and a facial. Look at the prizes stacking up. You know you're going to want to send that picture of your ugly sweater to FetcherNews.com. Get that to us today because we'll be announcing that winner Friday on our show from Circuit World in Blue Ridge. The 22nd, right? The day the government shuts down, either for Christmas or out of money. We'll come back after these messages. It's time for Carla's Corner. Sam, take us to break.